I do not condone or endorse the use of illegal substances. This video is the story of my own experience. Please use this for entertainment purposes or information regarding psychedelic use and harm reduction.
What's up and welcome to Detox Proxy. It's been quite a while since I made one of these videos and I just felt like I'm getting back into the psychedelic space. It's time to actually do a trip report. Now, over the years, I've been following a lot of psychedelic research and watching a lot of channels that offer trip reports. One channel that really sticks out for me and I really enjoyed his content was Junk Bond Trader.
Good morning, my friends. I hope you're doing well.
Now, I'd really like to dedicate this video to that channel. Dustin was an amazing creator, and his artistic ability in video creation and doing live streams goes beyond many people I've seen on YouTube. Due to a series of tragic events, unfortunately, he ended up homeless, and as time wore on, he was living out of his car. The car got impounded, and the last that we actually got to see, he was living out of a tent. As I've come to learn just a few days ago, at the start of October of 2025, tragically, he overdosed and lost his life. And I just want to send out my condolences to his brother and his brother's family. I know that his brother reached out to him a few times to try and help. Dustin was just not the type of person to accept help or ask for it. And he really struggled with that. And that's what kind of led him down this road. You know, he just was never able to recover, even though he was getting help here and there. It was just not enough to turn his life around and get him back on his feet. Much love to you, Dustin, wherever your spirit may be. I'll leave a link to his channel, Junk Bond Trader, in the description below. So this past year, I didn't have as many trips as I thought I would end up having. And in most cases, I was either busy or just not in the proper mindset. And my job dictates my state of mind all too often. And some days I just come home with either, upset stomach or headache, and to the point where, I can't relieve the tension enough after work so that I can actually do a trip or perform a trip report like this one. More recently, though, I've been wanting to dive back into the psychedelic space, and over the past few months, on weekends, I periodically have been tripping out with great success. The trips have been really good, and I feel really good afterwards. And that great feeling usually lingers and extends into the following week, which has been really nice. Truth be told, I would like to be more regular with my mushroom trips, and I've been trying to improve my living situation so I can actually do that. Besides Junk Bond Trader, another psychedelic YouTube channel that I've been watching for years is Kaleidoscope 3 Eyes. She's really cute and a great storyteller, and much of what she actually talks about is extremely relatable to me. She never holds back and is willing to dive deep into exploring her consciousness with a very open mind. One of her older videos that I remember watching was about the Beatles' Yellow Submarine. She kind of recommended to watch the movie while induced into a psychedelic trip, and I knew from research beforehand that the Beatles had gone through a phase of LSD usage that changed the course of music history forever. George Harrison had developed this great understanding of spirituality, and John Lennon had discovered the darkest depths of his own consciousness. The Yellow Submarine, though, wasn't it some kind of children's film and song like that my parents used to play in car rides for me and my sister? And to my surprise, the movie was far from that. So I had set the stage for a Sunday afternoon when I had no other responsibilities pending, and I decided on taking the last of the blue meanie mushrooms that I had on hand. They are such a welcoming mushroom to enter the psychedelic realm. If you are wondering about a good first strain to try, look no further. They can be a more subtle experience overall and will offer most of what other shroom trips consist of. Like all psychedelics, though, the more you take, the more challenging the trip becomes. I decided on 4 grams. On that day, it was still before the noon hour, and I hadn't eaten anything. So what I was going to try and do was add the 4 grams of mushrooms into some Western-style omelet sandwiches. And in order to do that, I put them in a coffee grinder and grinded them down to dust, which I only use for mushrooms, and that way I don't cross-contaminate other food and might end up microdosing myself at another time. But I added some boiling water, just a little bit to those dried mushrooms to kind of make them into a paste. And then I added the paste into some beaten eggs with some cooked ham, green pepper, and cheese. And it was just kind of like adding mushrooms to your omelet, I guess, is really what it ended up tasting like. Even though it didn't look really edible, it actually looked, a little bit distasteful. I figured the sandwiches were going to be a really good way to start the trip and get the mushrooms into me, no problem. I probably wouldn't even taste them. A little bit of sriracha can really kick it up a notch. Bam. So, that's what I ended up doing. 1 sandwich, 2 sandwich, and we're off to the races. Truth be told, this worked almost as well as Lemon Tech does. The come up started early, and by the first half hour, I was already feeling the effects of starting to come over me. I'd been playing some music, more so than I would regularly on a Sunday afternoon, but I needed to kill some time before starting the movie so it wasn't over before the climax had actually hit. And I was feeling really good that day, and everything seemed to be exactly the way I should be in that moment anyway. And I felt energetic enough that I actually started to work out, and that often happens. I used to dance a lot, start stepping to drum and bass and getting moving around, and that helps move the chemical around. But it seems to me that working out, like just lifting a bit of weight and doing some basic exercise, does almost the exact same thing. After building up a sweat and cooling down, I decided to have a shower. Shower for me is a very soothing location during a trip, and I needed to have a shower anyway. I was really starting to feel the full effects of the trip as I got out of the shower and dried myself off and got changed. I remember feeling very clean, comfortable, and relaxed. And I was ready to chill on the couch. Took this short clip just before starting the movie. So I'm just a few hours into this trip now. I just got out of the shower. I'm just listening to some music. And I was just thinking I would like to take a little clip before starting this movie. I'm about to put it on. And that's all I really wanted to tell you. I really wasn't sure what to expect from the Yellow Submarine. I had only known of the song and seen some of the artwork from the film over the years. The movie, however, was very foreign to me, and I wasn't sure how it would play out other than some sort of cartoon collage. As the movie starts, you were brought into a cheerful kind of land where the music's playing and people gather together and enjoy life. You get drawn into a focal point of what appears to be the Beatles playing musical instruments like trombone and baritone and that kind of thing. While wearing some of the same style clothing that everyone else is, and it's all really colorful. All is well, and everyone seems to be having a fantastic day. It's shortly after that, and the scene changes the entire feeling of the film, and it darkens slightly. An opposing set of characters is introduced, and they really don't like the happy people having any fun. They're blue, they're roundish bodies, and they've got kind of like these Mickey Mouse hats or ears or something going on top of their head. They got little burglar masks kind of on, and their leader is quite loud and angry all the time. Basically, they want to make everything blue, so they start bombing the colorful people with these blue ball bombs, and then when they explode, everything turns blue. The first strike hits on those Beatle characters, and everyone starts to flee the scene. The bombs keep flying, and at some point, the bad blue people eventually reveal their name to be the Blue Meanies. This took a minute for me to click into, and then I just started laughing. I couldn't stop laughing about it, that here I was watching the Blue Meanies cause destruction while I was on Blue Meanies. So I'm 6 minutes into this movie, and it just dawned on me, I can't even believe it, that how ironic that I'm on Blue Meanies watching this movie, because the little bad guys are called Blue Meanies. And then after that happened, I literally had to stop the film and look up whether or not the Blue Meanie name was intentionally the same as the strain of psychedelic mushrooms I was on. And apparently it wasn't. It was just something that they had named these characters the Meanies, and they happened to be blue, so they were the Blue Meanies. As the attack from the Blue Meanies continues, there is one man that's able to kind of make it over to this kind of pyramid temple, and that's where the Yellow Submarine is. He ends up boarding the Yellow Submarine and taking off up into the sky, and as that happens, the song Yellow Submarine begins to play. And that's kind of the intro to the whole movie right there. The movie title comes up on the screen, and then all of the, what we would call end credits today, start to play at the start of the movie because it's 1968, and that's the way all movies were done back then. The song itself is quite nostalgic for me. My father introduced us to the Yellow Submarine as children, and I loved singing along and hearing all the chatter from people and the background dinging noises that would always happen. It was something very easy to visualize as a young kid, 6 or 7 years old. It's a submarine that's yellow, and it's like a house on the inside that people can live in. I mean, what else could a kid really want more than that? At this point in the trip, I am flying. I'm on my own Yellow Submarine at this point. The movie is really keeping my attention, and I slowly started to turn into a child watching like Saturday morning cartoons on the TV. And I mean, it's a really weird cartoon, but thinking back then, I mean, there was only so much to watch on Saturday mornings that, if this was on, you would have ended up watching it. And once they're all assembled, they all board the Yellow Submarine. And the group is constantly joking and fooling around like children, saying the silliest things to encourage the next one to say something even sillier. And as the submarine lifts off with everyone inside of it, appropriately, the song All Together Now begins playing. They start traveling through the land that they're in with the craziest artwork and psychedelics kind of stuff going past the windows of the Yellow Submarine as it passes through. It's all in the mind. The animations are very well done for the time, and I'm just sitting cross-legged like I would as a kid on the couch at this point. Now, I mean, this isn't really a movie review, and I don't want to really give away a lot of the movie in case you haven't seen it, but the movie takes a bunch of twists and turns, and it gets pretty far out there in terms of imagination. Even though I was quite high, it kept my full attention all the way to the end of it. I mean, I enjoyed the whole movie, the hole in my pocket kind of thing at the end. I like that. The color shifting and everything that was happening, and all the artwork, a song from my childhood being played in the car on road trips or whatever. I just can't believe it's been this many years and this many trips before I've actually seen the Yellow Submarine. What an experience. Really glad that I did it. I enjoyed every minute of this film. The amazing artwork, to the animation, to the classic Beatles music, to seeing the Beatles as cartoon characters, getting that feeling of seeing something so brilliant that was made before I was even born. A lot that was taken for the movie was directly from the band members' ideas. I'm sure it would have probably been almost as much of a trip to watch without mushrooms as it was with. And to think they were pulling all of this off in 1968 is pretty amazing. It shows you how long psychedelics have been influencing artistic creation. I completely came down from the trip about an hour or so after the movie had ended. The blue meanies just aren't as mean as some of the other mushroom strains out there. Come to think of it, I don't think I've ever had a bad trip or something that was really challenging when I was on them. And they've been really accessible to me, but I've kind of come to the end of them, so I was thinking, well, I'll step into a new strain and try something different. I would like to try the white rabbits again, and I've kind of been easing my way up to giving those a try again. I remember what they did to me the last time in that the bigger video that I have on this channel, but I've been working my way up to them. And I also have a few of the research chemicals that I wanted to get back into and give them a try, because the winter is here, my friends, and it's time to get a little wild and crazy. I appreciate all of you that have taken the time to watch this trip report, and much gratitude to those that actually hit the subscribe button to come back for more. It's taken me a few years to build this channel up into what it is now, and I fully intend on continuing my journey to the best of my ability. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to this video, and check back for further trip reports in the future. We'll see you next time.